This is Ricky. He recently became the raider overboss of the gangs at Nuka World. You may be asking, who's Ricky? What's an overboss? When did this happen? Where's Nuka World? How did he become the leader of these gangs? Why should I care? Those are all great questions, and I intend to answer them. But to do that, I'll need to take you on a journey to show you how this remarkable raider got his start. In case you missed the previous episodes, it all began when Ricky found a vault and managed to secure himself a Pip-Boy. From there, he hit a chem deal, took their supply, and set up his own business to produce jet, which could be sold for lots and lots of caps. In short, he's building an empire, but that's not something you can do completely on your own. So in today's episode, Ricky will be searching the Commonwealth for allies willing to join his cause. The cause being taking over the Commonwealth, but that's on a need-to-know basis. His search led him to the heart of downtown Boston, in the old theater district. There's a place called the Combat Zone, which is a bar for raiders only. Now, you and I know that Ricky is a raider, but apparently this gang didn't, because they immediately started shooting when he approached. After clearing the welcome party, Ricky went inside to see that this old theater had been made into a fight club, but since all the raiders inside aren't any more friendly than those on the outside, Ricky had to take them all out. After this, he went to speak with the only two people who didn't shoot at him. This is where Ricky met Kate.
Is it over? Well, that could have gone worse.
I don't know. Seemed quite the performance from where I was standing.
Are you fucking hot? You caught the end of that bout. What'd you think of Kate's work?
She's clearly talented.
See? At least someone knows skill when they see it.
It ain't your fighting skills I'm concerned with. So here's my predicament. I suddenly got no audience. No audience means I got no caps coming in. What say I let you take over her contract? She goes with you, watches your back. Look, you'd be doing me a favor while I try to get the place back in order. What do you say?
Me? And him?
Sure, I could use someone watching my back.
Good. It's settled.
Ricky gained the first of soon-to-be many followers. His next would come very soon, as he stumbled upon a distress signal.
Mayday, or whatever it is one says on a ring. My name is Rex Goodman.
Now, Ricky isn't exactly the hero type, but there's usually a reward involved with these sorts of things, so he made his way to Trinity Tower. This would also be a great opportunity for him to see Kate in action, since she appears to be a skilled fighter. But to his surprise, as soon as they got inside, Kate just decided to lie down on the floor for some reason. Fighting the super mutants, essentially by himself, was no easy task, but as you should know by now, there's no problem that can't be solved with a bit of chems. At the top stood the strongest of the super mutants, a green ugly named Fist. While he may be strong, he wasn't smart enough to avoid stepping on 3 landmines. Anyway, there was a cage with the man who called for help inside, as well as another super mutant. Turns out this one named Strong is the closest thing a super mutant can be to being considered friendly. The super mutant too?
Yes, him too. He's harmless. Well, actually, he's far from harmless, but he won't hurt us. Trust me.
Strong will not hurt human if human rescues Strong and Rex.
Strong wouldn't stop rambling about the milk of human kindness, whatever that means. Anyway, against his better judgment, he unlocked the cage and made his escape, fighting through more mutants before reaching the bottom once again. There, Rex was thankful for the rescue.
Many thanks for that timely rescue.
I think I've earned the reward.
In any event, I'm quite grateful. I'd like you to have this.
The reward in question was a suit that increased Ricky's Riz by 3, and it didn't look half bad either. But to his surprise, the super mutant Strong wanted to join Ricky.
Human help Strong find milk of human kindness.
Ricky didn't really want to travel around with the super mutant, but he recognized that having a big scary bodyguard would be useful, so Strong joined the party. After this, Ricky went to the third rail, not to see Magnolia, but to see a mercenary for hire, named McCready.
I'll tell you what, price is 250 caps, up front. There's no room for bargaining. What do you say?
Everything's negotiable. Would you take 200?
You drive a hard bargain. You just bought yourself an extra gun. All right, boss. Let's get out of here.
At this point, you're probably wondering why Ricky is collecting followers like a suburban mom collecting 50% off coupons, so I'll clue you in. Ricky has plans to go to Nuka World. You see, Ricky had heard stories about how Nuka World is some raider paradise in an old amusement park way out west. His plan was to travel there and try and join up with these raiders. Maybe work with them to expand his chem business. He wasn't really sure what to expect, so he planned for the worst, which means he would need some help and something to offer these raiders. Along the way, he stopped by Vault 81, which he had learned from some local traders to be a still operating vault, functioning as a trade post.
For newcomers, we like to operate on exchange. You help us, we help you.
But I'm a fellow vault dweller. Can't you just let me in?
Excuse me, man. Before you arrived, he did say he was from a vault. And he's in possession of a working pit-boy.
Is that so?
After lying his way in, he immediately stole their bags of fertilizer to make, you guessed it, more jet. Exploring deeper into the vault, he met Tina, who seemed to be wearing a fake tan. I guess vault dwellers don't get much sunlight. Anyway, she asked this of Ricky.
Hey, outsider, do me a favor. If my good-for-nothing brother asks you for jet, tell him to buzz off.
Ricky immediately started selling jet to him because Bobby gives a whopping 75 caps per dose of jet. This is way more than any vendor will buy for it, the only caveat being that only one dose can be sold at a time. In short, Ricky will be selling a lot of jet to this guy in the future. I don't know how to transition this, but Ricky found a terminal belonging to one Bobby No-Nos, who had a plan to dig tunnels into some big storeroom. So Ricky offered to help Bobby to get a share of the loot. To make a long story short, Ricky broke a guy out of prison, used his robot to clear some tunnels, and then killed Bobby when he found out she lied to him. In the end, he got a cool minigun to give to Strong, and got Hancock as a follower. Trust me, it's really just a long story and not terribly interesting. But at this point, Ricky felt confident enough to travel to Nuka World. He made his way to the Nuka World transport station, which seemed to be under gunner occupation, and they aren't exactly welcoming to outsiders stepping into their territory. They had an Assaultron backing them up, but Ricky had recently learned how to hack robots, making quick work of this bot baddie. As a side note, Kate bugged out and wouldn't help during combat encounters like the other companions, so all she would end up doing is just stand around and judge me. Typical women, am I right? I need to stop making misogynistic jokes or people are going to start thinking I'm actually misogynistic. Inside the station, there was a man asking for help, but there was something off about him. He said that there were indeed raiders in Nuka World, and that they were holding his family hostage, and he barely escaped. But something about his story didn't add up, so Ricky took the safe route and just shot first.
Well, that wasn't very nice. Killing an innocent man. You're one ruthless son of a bitch, aren't you? The monorail will take you to Nuka World. If capture killing are your thing, I got the offer of a lifetime for you. But only if you think you can handle it.
To his surprise, there was somebody listening in on the other end, presumably one of the raiders. This was exactly what Ricky was looking for, an opportunity to prove himself to these raiders. There was a pop-up saying that Nuka World is only recommended for level 30 plus characters, and Ricky's only level 16, but I'm sure he'll be fine. Turns out the voice he heard belongs to a raider named Porter Gage, who informs Ricky that he is currently walking into a death trap. There's an easy way to skip this whole thing by just phasing your hand through a door and escaping, but that's boring, so, Ricky's gonna go through the gauntlet, alright? The first room was filled with turrets, but thankfully, Ricky brought plenty of meat shields, companions along with him. Next up was a room of tripwires and explosives, but Ricky took his time and made his way through. A room filled with radioactive waste would normally be a challenge, but luckily Ricky packed a hazmat suit to make it through without leaving looking like Hancock. He kept going through a tunnel filled with landmines that he made sure to disarm, but apparently his companions weren't as smart and they blew themselves up. After another close call that may or may not have been his fault, Ricky was trapped in a room filled with gas. Essentially just turn all the valves, nearly blow up again, and then escape to the next challenge. Sprinting through the last section, Ricky made it to the final arena, where he was berated by a funny-sounding man who appears to be the head honcho of the raiders here.
Got me wired up yet, Gage?
Yeah, boss.
Finally. Now go shut off that damn alarm.
All right, I'm on it.
Now where? There's my next victim now. Don't look like much. Here's a quick rundown of how this works. You go stock up, make yourself presentable. Then we're gonna give these folks a show. A show where I decorate these walls here with your lovely brains. Thanks to this suit, I'm the only one that wins this fight. Period.
Once again, the intercom voice of Gage spoke to Ricky, giving him a rundown of what to do.
But this fight coming up is rigged. You get me? Overboss Coder. His power armor's set up to draw energy from the electric grid in the arena. Damn things.
So he's a cheating coward. Gotcha.
doesn't have a fair bone in his body. You want to win? I stashed a weapon in the lockers. Get it.
Apparently, Gage was referring to a children's toy when he said weapon. Is this a squirt gun?
Yeah, I know what it looks like. You're just going to have to trust me. Once the water hits Coulter's electrically charged power armor, the circuits are gonna short out.
For whatever reason, Strong decided now would be the best time for a heart-to-heart.
Respect. Human would be good, super mutant.
You're an idiot. All super mutants are idiots. I would never want to be one.
Not idiots. Super mutants, good fighters. Strong, great warrior.
Getting back on track, Ricky prepared for the fight. Coulter was getting the crowd ready, and Ricky got his water gun ready. By defeating the old Overboss, this makes Ricky the new Overboss. But while that may seem easy, Ricky would still need to prove himself to these raiders. Death by squirt gun. I'd love to see the message on his tombstone. Stepping outside, Ricky got his first good look at Nuka World, a place built in honor of a soft drink from a bygone era. Nearby was the market where all the traders are fitted with bomb collars around their necks because they're salespeople. Yeah, salespeople. Anyway, one of them sells a weapon called the splatter cannon, which does more damage with each hit. It's really good. It's a really good weapon. And Ricky could afford to buy with caps, but there's an alternative way of getting this weapon. You'll see later. Walking through the streets of Nuka Town, USA, Ricky met a chatty character named Sierra Petrovita. She was an NPC with an annoying side quest in Fallout 3, and she's no different in this game.
And the winner of the contest would get to meet the famous John Caleb Bradburton himself.
But she gave Ricky these neat glasses, so that's cool, I guess. Anyway, the next 10 minutes or so were spent listening to Gage monologue about how Coulter was a bad boss anyway, and how he needs Ricky to be a leader for these gangs. Speaking of which, I should probably give you the rundown on each of the gangs at Nuka World. There are 3 in total, and Ricky will have to try and appease each of them for them to respect him as the new Overboss. The first gang is the Disciples, a group of sadists who love to cut and stab, and are mostly women for some reason. It's literally a gang of goth girls. What's not to love? But Ricky's first order of business would be to speak with their leader.
But whatever. Let's get this meet and greet over with. I'm Nisha. I lead the Disciples. We've only got one rule around here, and that's keeping the peace of this alliance. Otherwise, the way we see it, this world stopped caring about rules the moment people started dropping bombs on one another.
Rules just hold us back. We should be free to do whatever we want.
That's what I was trying to tell Coulter all along. Maybe if you listened, you'd still be around. So you better not screw this up, because I'm not about to tolerate another round of
Depends on what you're looking for.
Fuck this up, and I will kill you.
I just died on your arms tonight.
Anyway, side note, you can find a Star Wars reference in this room. There's a little thing up here that looks like Han Solo and Carbonite, but it's really small for some reason. The next gang Ricky met was the Operators, a gang all about caps and vanity. They wear cool outfits, and I'll just say it now, they're the best out of the 3 gangs.
I suppose we all owe you for putting down Coulter.
Man was an idiot. Made us all look bad.
I'm Mags. This is my brother, William.
Pleasure.
Along with our co-conspirator, Lizzie, we run this crew. Call ourselves the Operators. This place was built for the sole purpose of taking caps out of the pockets of fools. We'd like some assurances that you intend to bring this place back to its true purpose.
My goal is to use this place to make all the money I can.
I look forward to seeing your claims put into action.
You see, the Operators just get it. Being a raider is all about caps, and they are actually somewhat nice to be around, unlike the next gang, the Pack. I don't know how to describe to you how terrible this raider gang is. They're a bunch of furries to start. They all wear animal masks and probably smell like animals too. In their base, they just have constant dog fights, so you have to hear that every time you go in there, and usually these guys are just downright mean, alright? Plus, their leader is the type of guy to unironically call himself an alpha male.
Now that I get a closer look at you, I'm not sure I'm proud of this new Overboss thing. Name's Mason, the Pack's Alpha. This here's our side of town. You might be Overboss, for now, but I'm the boss of the Pack. And if you stay that way.
I'm not here to make us friends. I'm here to make us some caps.
I think we can all respect caps, not each other. Look, let's cut to the chase. You're gonna do right by the public.
Be a good dog and do what you're told, or you'll be put down.
Ooh, there, boss. Nothing from no guys, all right? You know what? I think we're not so different, me and you. I want you to have this. Consider it a token of our mutual understanding and respect.
He gives the problem solver, which has the same legendary effect as the splatter cannon, but you can get this basically for free. Ricky went to have yet another conversation, this time with Gage, and I'll just summarize. Nuka World has 6 parks. Nuka World USA, which is where the Raiders are now, the Galactic Zone, Dry Rock Gulch, Safari Adventure, the World of Refreshment, and Kitty Kingdom. Ricky would have to do the work of clearing out each park, and then decide which gang gets to control it. Essentially, Ricky's doing all the heavy lifting, but hey, at least Gage offered to help by joining the party. Ricky got a lot done in a short period of time. His trip to Nuka World far surpassed his expectations, making him the leader of 3 gangs at once. But his next step was clear: conquer Nuka World, then the Commonwealth. So tune in next time to watch as Ricky begins to take the parks, and gain the respect of the other raiders along the way. The road ahead won't be easy, but the pile of caps at the end will make it all worth it.
Or maybe just one more.